The last time I checked, no alien has submitted their writing for assessment at IELTS Juice. If there are any aliens watching this YouTube channel, you can click on the description below. There's a link that will take you the specific page on the IELTS Juice website where you can submit your papers or your letter, reports, essays for assessment. Are you satisfied with your job? Do you like your job? Your income? Your manager? Why am I asking these questions? Oh, yeah, because today we're going to assess an essay related to job satisfaction, and we know that many IELTS candidates try to get a good score at IELTS because it might secure a better position in an English-speaking country for them later on. So, welcome to IELTS Juice. Let's start assessing an essay together. And the essay says, as most people spend a major part of their adult life at work, which is true, job satisfaction is an important element of individual well-being. So if you feel well, if you consider your job as an element of your life standard, which you should, then what you do, something that you spend a lot of time every day doing, will take up a large portion of your life and your life standard. So it's very important that you feel satisfied at what you do. There are two questions. What factors contribute to job satisfaction? So we have job satisfaction as an element in the middle. And we want to know what other elements actually contribute to job satisfaction. So we can say causes, but at the same time, these are the elements that directly impact job satisfaction. So whichever definition works for you, whatever it is, these are the elements around job satisfaction and they affect the quality of that. And the second question is a rather philosophical one. How realistic is the expectation of job satisfaction for all workers? Let me clarify this a little bit for you. I have seen many students struggle, they have difficulty with this particular question. Remove the how realistic part. We have a statement. Job satisfaction for all workers. And there is this expectation, like there is this belief, there is this idea that we can have job satisfaction for all workers. The key word here is all workers. It's 100% workers. So we have this sentence. The real question is, how realistic is that idea? Is this a real idea or it's just fiction? It's imaginary. It's a little bit of illusion. So the people who think that they're in la la land. Or no, they are talking something accurate, scientifically proven, it is correct, psychology, sociology backed it up. And yes, it is something real. You can have job satisfaction for all workers. That is the question you need to address. Now, this is a two-part question, and the rule of thumb tells me that I need to devote at least one paragraph per question, at least. There are a few elements here I need to just point out. We say most people spend major part of their adult life. So we're not talking about teenagers, not children. We're not talking about senior citizens. We're talking about people at working age. So it starts from 18, 19, 19 onwards, even maybe in some countries 20, 22 onwards, all the way to 60, 65. So that is one element. And then we need to also consider that it's part of a healthy lifestyle. When we want to address the first question, we need to understand that there are at least two factors we need to mention, because this is plural. I don't know how I can stress this enough. And at the same time, I don't know why so many people just ignore this. This plural S, is absolutely important. We need to come up with at least two factors, at least. And then we have one question. This one is the way you approach is more important, because it's about how. And the key word here is all. And you and me basically know that it's very difficult to satisfy everybody. There is not a thing, or at least I'm not aware of, on this planet that all 8 billion people agree on. We always have a level of agreement. I would argue that if you want to say that, yes, this is realistic and yes, we can make all workers satisfied, you're going to have a little bit harder job to convince the reader. Or you might even say, no, I'm okay with it. Anyway, let's move on to the candidate's response. Throughout the history, working has been an inseparable part of humans' life. That's a good opening. It's a little bit hard because we started from throughout history, and now we just want to bring it to, the struggles that we have these days. A great deal of our time, especially, not specially, I need E here. In adulthood, okay, this is a good word to address which type of audience we're targeting, is spent in our occupations. All right, this is fine. The writer considers him or herself among human beings, obviously. The last time I checked, no alien has submitted their writing for assessment at IELTS Juice. If there are any aliens watching this YouTube channel, you can click on the description below. There's a link that will take you the specific page on the IELTS Juice website where you can submit your papers or your letter, reports, essays for assessment. But I don't know if you are an alien from Mars or another planet and you wish to take the IELTS test, you need to go through the process. But anyway, so the writer is a human being, and the writer is also an adult, and which is accurate. And the writer can say our occupations, so this is logical. This fact shows the importance of our careers and its impacts on the quality of our lives. Again, another correct sentence. Look at the transition. We started from history, throughout history, then we have had jobs, now we're adults, so we have these occupations, and then there's a fact that they play a very important role in our lives and in our quality of lives. You see how connected these sentences are and how we're connecting humans, history, occupations, jobs, importance, and all the way to the quality of life. Happiness in life is strongly dependent on how satisfied we are with the job we have. Okay. Very strong, to the point thesis statement. I specifically love the transition. It was a very good. I always have this simulation in my head that the writer started from history and then as a pilot and as a writer landed this plane smoothly. We didn't dive down. We had a very smooth transition from one sentence to another. We came down and then we landed. I love this. So it's very good. I just wished we had something that gave me the elements, the factors that contribute to this. We talked very general or very generically. So I wish we had a little bit more items. I still have no idea what to expect in the following essay. Let's read ahead. To begin with, an ideal job is the one which you are passionate about. I'm guessing passion is one factor contributing to job satisfaction. If one loves their work, they don't get bored and always try, because we're talking about they. I know, you might say, Kasra, it appears that we're talking about one individual, because we say if one loves, and then we use the preposition they, which refers to an individual, and it's a very formal way. I get it. That is a very legitimate and correct way. Still, once you change the subject from a singular subject to a pronoun they, which is a correct move, from this point on, all the following verbs must agree with the pronoun, with the second one. The word don't matches they. It doesn't match one. It doesn't have to agree with one. It should agree with they. That's important. And from this point on, they is your subject. And always try to agree with the word they, not here, not this one. To improve. Being in a job, not the job, we don't know what, or maybe the job that they love. Oh yes, there's somehow a definition, which was a long dream. Okay. Provides people with the valuable feeling of accomplishment. Yeah, good. Yes. Yeah, being in the job, which was a long dream. I wouldn't put these two commas. This I need the definition of the job. So this has to be an element of the sentence, and the writer should actually encourage me to read the definition of the job with the valuable feeling of accomplishment. You see, again, we're defining the valuable feeling. What valuable feeling? The feeling of accomplishment. Oh, okay, that's valuable feeling, which is the essence of a good life. Again, I wouldn't put this comma here. I need all these elements. When you put a comma or a bracketing comma like this, you're suggesting as a writer that this element is optional. You may read it, you may not read it. It's your decision as a reader. You tell the reader that it's your decision. If you wish to read, go ahead. If not, move on. But let me argue that as a writer, please, when you define, let the reader read the definition. Encourage the reader to read the definition. I love the word essence here. I'm not a fan of these words, good, bad, and better, because they're frequently used. You see, this is an opportunity. It shouldn't have been lost. Instead of saying good, which is not going to give you any extra marks, you could have said a fulfilling life. And that would have been much, much, much better. It adds to the variety of your vocabulary. My younger sister, for example, there is nothing wrong with coming up with your own examples. It's totally fine. Is a teacher in a primary school, and she, this is more spoken, because when you say my younger sister, it is still the same subject, so remove comma and doesn't have too much. You don't need this element too, and you carry on, because the subject is still your younger sister. Doesn't have too much free time, but is always happy and lively because she adores her job and loves working with children. This is a really good example. She loves working with children. That's why she's a primary school teacher, and she has done it for many years probably, and she spends a lot of time on this job, and she's always happy and lively. Good word. This is not a very large paragraph, but it encompasses, it contains all the elements of a healthy topic that you mention, you discuss, you develop, and you come up with examples, and there is nothing else left to discuss here. It's a very, very, very good paragraph. It has all the elements I wanted to see for this particular topic. Another factor which is critical in job satisfaction is indeed the amount of income. I don't need this comma. This is the subject. Yes, it's a very long one, but it's the subject. So basically, the other factor is the amount of income. There shouldn't be any pause or any punctuation between the subject and the verb, and its verb, to be accurately speaking. The money an individual receives as a salary, we don't define the salary here, so it should be a salary, should be worth. Worth comes with the verb to be, so is worth, will be worth, was worth, should be worth their time and energy dedicated to the job. A person who is underpaid will never feel the appreciation they deserve. Now, we are defining the appreciation. It actually is the appreciation which they deserve, and you can remove which in this case. That's a very advanced move. So omitting this which here is a good practice. They deserve, and it will cause unhappiness. Since the subject changes, I need comma here, and it will cause unhappiness. Even if it is the job that a person loves and is good at, they can't receive the proper respect if they are not paid accordingly. It makes sense? I don't see any examples, but it is still fine. So there is a third body paragraph before the conclusion. In the previous two body paragraphs, we focused on two factors. Each factor had its own paragraph. That is also a very good move. If you have more to say, instead of merging the two factors into one paragraph, you can give each factor one paragraph and it'll be fine. And it's even more manageable. And you can come up with better vocabulary and better grammar. Hoping that everyone obtains, everyone is singular, the proper job satisfaction, on the other hand, is an unrealistic thought. The way people feel about their job and the status they can reach is mostly dependent, not accurately spelled, this has to change to E, on the personality of the person. Good. If someone doesn't try hard enough, it's better just to write it in full format and say does not try hard enough. They cannot, and remember, cannot is all one word, get what they want. Therefore, I need a semicolon before that, because therefore creates compound sentences. They will not be happy. Moreover, if someone has reached many successes, but nothing is ever enough for him or her, they will suffer from constant dissatisfaction. Good. Ow. Something to remember. I am not a fan of saying moreover as the connector for the last sentence in any paragraph. Because it tells me as a reader that, yes, you're opening up a new chapter. Okay, so in this sentence, you start giving me some new information, which is new. Yes, there are many successes, but they don't feel content with what they have. Then they're going to suffer from constant dissatisfaction. These are all new elements to me. But then it's done. We're done. What about the development? We need a supporting sentence to give me some detailed information. It's not there. Another thing, it doesn't have any examples either. That's a pity. In conclusion, there are many factors which can contribute to job satisfaction, such as the level of income and your interest in the job. The level of income and your interest was quite the other way around. The first item we discussed, the first factor was your interest. The second factor was your income. But it's not rational to expect everyone can have this positive mentality, as people's characters are different from each other. Good. The last item refers to the last body paragraph. It is a large sentence. It's a one-sentence paragraph. I don't like that. Instead of this, we could have come up with maybe a compound sentence, or at least we could have separated this element from the beginning of this conclusion. Anyway, 347 words. Let's look at the band descriptors. All right. The organization was logical, not sequential. There was an attempt to make it sequential, but the sequence was written in the opposite way. So referencing was good in the majority of cases, but there was an element with day one, if you remember. And also we had too many subjects repetitively. Not an issue, but I mean, it can easily be solved. I needed one example for the second and the third body paragraphs each. That's why it's not 9. I also witnessed a few punctuation mistakes for grammatical range and accuracy, and the range for vocabulary was sufficient, but not wide. I believe 7 is a very healthy score. It's very easy to go from 7 to 7.5 here. How? We just clarify referencing, and we add 2 more sentences to the second and the third body paragraphs, and we come up with examples to just fully develop it. And while you're at it, maybe you can also work on the conclusion and make it 2 sentences, just to make sure that your paragraphing is sufficient as well. Oh, and also to fix the sequence of events in the conclusion. Anyway, these elements can be easily fixed, and this essay can easily go from 7 to 7.5. I encourage you to give this rubric a try, and I hope I'll be assessing your representative, or maybe some other representatives like letters, reports, later on. Take care.